Good evening, everyone. My name's Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Thursday, January the 9th, 2014, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to go ahead and look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. We had the Dow close down 18 points, the Nasdaq closed down 9.5, and the S&P 500 closed up a little over half a point. Looking at the breadth, pretty mixed market here. We had 3,022 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 3,282 issues declining. So you can see it was pretty much a one-to-one there. Really not leaning to one direction at all. We did have 519 issues making new highs on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex, and 62 issues making new lows. We still have that bullish undertone in the markets here. Looking at my heat map, looks like the weakest sector today. Was the technology space here. AT&T and Verizon down over 2%. Apple down 1.25%. We also had Nvidia down 3, closer to 4%. WDC, EMC, NTAP, all these data storage stocks that rallied up yesterday, and they've been rallying up for the past couple weeks. They got smashed down a little bit today. Sprint was down over 5.5%. That has been a nice little cheap momentum stock. AMD down 2%. CRM and CPWR down 2%. Bullish action in the healthcare space that continued today. That was the same scenario as yesterday. Bank of America, nice bid today of 1.5%. Utilities finally, having a green day today. However, the basic materials sector remains weak. We're starting to see a lot of weakness in the basic material space now, and I'm going to talk about that later on in the video here. Let's go and take a look at the markets though, starting off with the S&P 500. SPY closed up 12 cents. You can see we're chopping around this little key trend line. At the same time, we still have a higher pivot low that's in place here from the low that we made on Monday, and this 183 level has been respected for the past 3 sessions. So maybe we get a nice little pop up over today's highs going into the weekend. We can have a nice little green candle here closing on the highs here for the year. All right, I should say the highs closing on the highs with the high that we made on the last trading day of the year. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, if you take this little pivot low all the way down at the bottom of the screen, bring it to the top, and to run it back to the pivot low that we made on Monday, which I did right here. I just didn't do it like this. I did put it on the side. You can see that those Fibonacci extension levels, 38.2 matches up with the high of the year, or last year, 184.69. Okay, or last week's high, however you want to say it. And then the 50% extension is up here around 185, around 185.75. But if we break the pivot low from Monday, we have the 28 moving average as support right there at 182. If we break 182, that's when we could really see some decent selling pressure. Looking at the action on the ES here, just to show you guys how the ES looks compared to the S&P 500 ETF. You can see the same thing here. We sold off a little bit. Hold on one second. All right, so overnight we traded sideways to high, then we sold off, and then the market caught a bid around 330, which rallied us up. You can see on the ES we're still holding this little support level down there around the 1820 level, and it definitely looks like they want to try to at least retest those highs of this. So that's what we're waiting for. Excuse me, and we'll see how that takes shape if it does. Looking at the Nasdaq 100, the triple Q. All right, folks, sorry about that. So looking at the triple Q, the Nasdaq 100 ETF closed down 29 cents, a little over 0.25%. You can see here we still remain in this nice little upward channel. You can actually adjust this trend line right here if you want to the little pivot low that we made this week on Monday. Then you can duplicate that trend line and connect to these little higher pivot highs up here, and that could be the new channel that you can work with right there. So you can see we still remain in this nice little upward channel. Let's go and take a look at the IWM. All right, and the level you want to watch on that triple Q for support is going to be down there at 86. So really, until we break below 86, everything still remains intact there. Looking at the IWM here, you can see it held that 50% median line from the big channel that we've been highlighting to you guys. if we continue to hold that 50% trend line and we trade sideways to higher, we're going to be forming a nice little compression pattern right here that could maybe knock us up towards the top of that channel. You guys can see it pretty clean. Again, for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions, we've been holding that 50% trend line along with that slightly rising 20-day moving average right there. In the short term, though, we're sideways. You can see the moving averages are sideways, and if I draw a nice little range here, you can see all we're doing is just trading sideways for the past 2 weeks now. So a little chop action here, but at the same time, doesn't mean that stocks aren't moving. Definitely have some stocks moving, which we'll take a look at here shortly. Let's go take a look at the Dow Jones ETF, the DIA. Dow Jones was weak today, did get a nice little bounce off the lows. You can see the same thing here. Markets are trading sideways, guys, and that's why we're not really doing much. We're trying to catch a little bit of these morning trades and then call it a day, or at least just watch the market, see if there's any other opportunities. But right now, a lot of the action's in the morning. You can have to do a little action in the afternoon, but the nice fluid action with the volumes in the morning, guys, and everything just kind of dies out in the afternoon. Again, I don't think that many people are really putting on positions up here as we trade sideways on these highs, and probably have some investors, traders, however you want to call it. They want to wait for us to build at least a bigger base at these levels before they feel confident putting money to work, I think. So let's go and take a look at the volatility index. We can look at the VIX for that. I'm not going to look at the currencies today. I'm not going to look at the commodity space today because the same thing continues. Gold and silver is doing nothing. Crude oil continues to sell off, but it did get a nice little bounce off the lows today. So we could take a look at the crude oil chart, but aside from that, I'm not really going to go through the whole shebang with the commodities because they're really not doing anything right now, especially in the precious metal space. Well, copper did get knocked down today off of that Chinese CPI number, but in general, it's not really doing much. So the VIX, again, same thing here, nothing going on. Really not too concerned about the VIX until we break back above this little lower pivot high that we made right there, which is around 1450 or so. Really not too much to talk about there. Every time the VIX rallies up intraday, they sell it right back off. All right, the same scenario that it's been doing for the past year. Whoever, if it goes up one day in a day, they'll sell it off. If it goes up for 2 weeks straight, they'll sell it off the next 2 weeks. There's just not a real, bid for volatility, I guess you could say. Not, people aren't really worried about the market right now. And we can see that in individual equity names. I mean, you have the banks still holding up pretty well. They pulled back pretty decent. We had Bank of America up 1.5% today. Remains one of the stronger momentum charts in the financial space right now. So if you're looking for that little momentum in the financials, Bank of America is giving it to you. I mean, the range is not that big. It is a thick stock. However, if this thing reports good earnings, I think next week you could probably have a couple wide range bars, so you could maybe catch decent action there. JP Morgan, not much today. Not going to look at that chart. You can take a look at that. Goldman Sachs down 0.5%, down $1. Again, Goldman Sachs, we're going to be watching it to see if it pulls back to retest this little broken channel. All right, the retest will be down here around, say, 175.14, which is actually a high probability area to try to get involved, if you ask me, because you have the rising 20-day moving average and you have the trend line right there. So if it was to flash down there, I do think you at least would be able to get a scalp. So keep an eye on that 175.14 and draw these key trend lines in on your chart if you don't have them in already on your daily time frames. They are very helpful. So Goldman Sachs, see what else we got going on here. Citigroup, Citigroup traded a little bit strong yesterday. I really didn't get a chance to see how it closed out the session, but I do remember trading strong intraday yesterday. So Citigroup today up 39 cents, up close to 0.75%. You can see here up 55.28, making new. Let's see this. I think this thing's making new 5-year highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so Citigroup's making new 4-year highs. This thing definitely has a lot of potential to run if it starts to hold a bid above 50, which it has been doing since since May of last year. So keep an eye on Citigroup, guys. All right, you can also keep an eye to see if it gets some nice volume. If it starts trading above this, say 40 million shares a day on average, you can see it hasn't really been getting no volume spikes. But if we get a volume spike next week, we get the same thing that happened with Bank of America. where it gapped up and it traded higher and closing the highs on heavy volume, and now you can see it's just trending higher. Same thing can happen with Citigroup, especially take a look at that monthly chart. You can see what I'm talking about there. A lot of potential. Apple, remember, we're looking for Apple to continue to fade down slowly. Apple down 1.25% today. All right, and again, I gave you guys love to watch an Apple. It's 526.75. All right, call it 526 half if you want, or better yet, 520. You can see we have all this little demand right here. Remember, when we were trading these prices between 512 and 526, this is accumulation going on. So what does that mean? That means a lot of people are long from this area. Hopefully they sold some up here around 570. But that also means if it goes back down towards the demand level, they may be looking to pick up some more shares and buy some more before move back up. So we'll see how that plays out. But Apple, does look like it may pull back a little bit more. Amazon, let's go take a look at the stock. Amazon down 91 cents today, still trading sideways to higher, still above that key 390 level from that little range. Same setup as Apple here, right? Accumulation, rallied up, pulled back, back test held twice. Now it's trying to move back up. I mentioned Amazon in yesterday's video, saying it could probably go back up and retest those highs, and it did, but it did not close on the high. So we've got to continue to watch that. Could easily have just be a pause day today, and then tomorrow have a big green candle for a nice strong close on a breakout or something like that. Keep that on your radar. Amazon, retail was pretty decent today. Walgreens, stock that we mentioned to you guys to watch today, that closed off of a 60-minute bull flag scenario. You can see this thing was just exploded right on the open and went. All right. And if you're looking to trade, if you're looking to learn how to trade those hourly setups where you're trading in the morning and you're done like in the first hour of the day, if you want to learn how to do research and find those type of patterns, I think I will be doing potentially I will be doing a little strategy session on that sometime, maybe next week, Thursday. Maybe I'll map something out over the weekend, but definitely you can see how this one worked right here. 60-minute bull flag yesterday, right? Up move, sideways action, and then it's the buy setup right on the go. So that's, we're very familiar with that type of style in the chat room. So if you've not been to our chat room yet, come check it out. If you're looking to make your money in the first 2 hours of the day, we definitely have those types of setups in our chat room there. So check it out, mywallstreettv.com. Amgen, biotechs are strong today. Amgen was up over 2.5% today. Biotechs, again, this one, looked pretty good here over that 117 level, and it did end up, it did take off to the top side. The high of the high that it made last year was 119.70. Excuse me, I'm a little bit off my game today, guys. It's a little bit dark, gloomy outside. Makes you a little bit sleepy. In any case, triple D, looking at this was like the only positive stock, one of the positive stocks in the basic materials space, the chemical space. You can see here, we talked about this yesterday for an alert over the 2-day high. You have your nice little up move, little pullback, gapped up today. You can see it sold off today, but closed right on its highs. We will be looking for this one to fall through tomorrow if it breaks over today's highs. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart to see how it's set up for us here. All right, so they gapped it up. A lot of stocks gapped up today. So they gapped up the stock here, double D, DuPont. They sold it all the way down to gap fill. Right, well, just right in front of that. Well, yeah, they sold all the way to gap fill. Fill the gap, up move, sideways consolidation. You guys know what we say about this, indicative of move higher, broke out, up move. All right, pulled back, and the back test in front of the level held, little double bottom on the back test, and then move back up. So nice, clean action in this stock. If you find a stock with a nice pattern, you could definitely, if you find a nice stock with a pattern on the daily chart, and you expect a lot of day traders to trade it, you could definitely expect those back test holds to actually hold, and it to continue in the favorable direction. This is a prime scenario of that right there that you just saw me map out for you guys. So Amgen was up, BMY was up 3% today. Aetna, the healthcare stocks, they've been giving some nice little momentum a little bit there. Aetna CI group. You can take a look at Aetna. Broke out today. This little cup and handle looking pattern action right here. Nice breakout in Aetna CI. They had pretty much the same thing. Healthcare plans there. This one broke out today as well. So some bullish action in the healthcare space. If you're looking to just play the whole healthcare sector, you can take a look at the XLV ETF, but I don't really think it's that liquid. but definitely a good tool to use to kind of gauge a sector of the space. You can see the same thing here. A little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern there, right? Left shoulder, a little head, a little right shoulder action that forms at the top of the red for the flag, and now we're moving higher. Could it get some more juice? It definitely can because it's just now breaking out. However, know that you're like in this kind of the second day of the breakout, and better yet, this day it actually broke out as well. It's kind of like the third day in a sense, but the real momentum came in today and yesterday. So I would say 2 days. What else, folks? We talked about the banks. I forgot to talk about crude oil with you all here. Crude oil did sell off today. All right, but again, it made a nice recovery off the lows. If it is a short-term bottom, we'll see. It's been getting crushed for the past couple sessions here. All the way from 100 to 92, down $8 in a short amount of time into a little double bottom support. I do believe you'll be able to get a scalp opportunity here, which it happened today intraday. However, we'll have to wait and see tomorrow or see overnight during the overnight session going into tomorrow if this is going to actually hold up and give us a nice little green bar to trade or a nice little range bar tomorrow that gives us a nice little slow uptrend day potentially. We'll see. Aside from that, folks, I could go on, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Keep an eye on TSO, VLO, JC Penney, some action. Macy's, we traded that one today. And make sure you join us in the live chat room, My Wall Street TV. If you're interested in taking our monthly education course that we teach or joining our proprietary trading firm that we work with, you can contact me at ccooper at wallstreettrading.com. Have a great day, folks. Cheers.